Emotional reasoning, the tendency to believe something is true simply because it feels true, is one of the greatest obstacles to clear thinking and rational decision making. People often mistake their emotional reactions for evidence, assuming that if they feel something strongly, it must reflect reality. This distortion fuels personal suffering, social dysfunction, and large scale manipulation. To break free from its grip, we must understand how it works, why it's dangerous, and how to rise above it. At its core, emotional reasoning confuses subjective experience with objective reality. If someone feels anxious, they assume danger is present. If they feel offended, they believe harm has been done. This pattern is widespread, leading to victimhood narratives, moral panics, and a culture where disagreement is mistaken for harm. Instead of examining facts, people rely on their emotions as guide, making it impossible to reach truthful conclusions. The consequences of emotional reasoning are severe. On a personal level, it leads to unnecessary anxiety, resentment, and self deception. In social interactions, it fosters division as people prioritize feelings over facts, making meaningful discussions impossible. On a broader scale, emotional reasoning fuels political and ideological extremism as outrage and fear become the driving forces behind public discourse. History is filled with examples of mass hysteria and moral crusades where people, driven by their emotions, abandoned logic and reason. This tendency is not just a personal flaw, it is actively exploited by those in power. Governments use fear to justify control. The media thrives on outrage to drive engagement, and corporations manipulate emotions to fuel consumerism. When people make decisions based on feelings rather than facts, they become easy to manipulate. Recognizing this manipulation is the first step towards freedom. Escaping the trap of emotional reasoning requires disciplined thinking. Instead of reacting impulsively, we must question our emotional responses. Does this feeling reflect reality, or is it a conditioned reaction? What does the evidence actually show? By prioritizing truth over emotional comfort, we gain clarity and resilience. The goal is not to suppress emotions, but to see them for what they are, signals, not a proof of reality. If people stopped mistaking their feelings for truth, manipulation would lose its power, and society would move toward wisdom rather than hysteria. True freedom comes from thinking beyond emotion, embracing reality, and refusing to be ruled by subjective reactions. A world that values reason over emotional impulse is a world that cannot be easily controlled, a world where true freedom begins. When people break free from the tyranny of emotional reasoning, they reclaim their ability to think independently, act with wisdom, and shape their own destiny. This is where a new world of freedom is formed, not one dictated by fear, outrage, or manipulation, but by truth, understanding, and the unwavering pursuit of reality.